In the fall of 2018, I was sleeping on the streets, sleeping outside of a storefront, and I had this very extended meditation or dream. And in this dream, there was a man, an African American man, who looked like the former chief of police of Houston. And there was a woman, an African American woman, who looked like the director of the public health department in Houston. And she was on top of a school bus, and he was crawling up the front of the school bus to meet her on the roof of the school bus. But she was angry at him. She yelled at him and said, "It's gone too far. No, you took it too far. I'm not cooperating." And then that part of the dream ended. And I woke up the next morning, and there was an African American police officer in Dallas. He came up to me, and he did that thing where he, says something about clearing out, but I'm registering there's something else going on, and I feel the energy in my chest. And I found out later that day that a police officer in Atlanta had been shot and killed during the evening. Right now, there's apparently a conference for mayors. It's happening right now. Apparently, it started on Saturday. It was going on yesterday. It's happening today. It's the 88th conference. I sent a petition to the Supreme Court of the United States challenging what I said was a pattern of racketeering activity that was discernible through the proposed federal budget process in 2017 meant for 2018. My specific concern was that they were coding the transportation budget to the same number of pardons issued by President Barack Obama in his last 3 days of office. That metric also correlated with a reform bill that had been passed decades before. That was the first time the United States government had been authorized to use credit cards. My specific charge was that Obama had worked some sort of deal with other people to use people that he had pardoned and the identities connected to people he had pardoned as a sort of line of credit, i.e., human credit cards for certain things as a rollout and expansion upon a process whereby other people, especially people who had been arrested, could be used as lines of credit for others, either through the issuance of their bail bonds, which was part of what I was already investigating after as part of the time I went to the Department of Justice in Chicago and turned in reports connected to my investigation, but also in connection with other kinds of financial instrumentalities, including ones set up by lawyers and prosecutors and judges, and now what appear to be the administrations of the jurisdictions of concern, up to and including state Supreme Courts, involving the litigation or the legal efforts of the people that are trying to go through the court system. So when I saw this in a specific other calibration of various metrics in the federal budget of 2017 meant for 2018, I used this, and I had a report which would have been my evidence, and submitted a petition, an original petition for review to the Supreme Court of the United States. Now, I contacted them by phone. They said they sent it back. I never got it. Somebody stole my original first Supreme Court filing when I was on the streets in Houston. But 2 years later, I'm in Dallas. And I had that dream. Apparently, the first day of this mayor's conference this year, a man is shot, a black man is shot by a white police officer in Atlanta. There also happened to be concurrent public notices alleging that the cities of Dallas and the city of San Francisco were involved with busting fraud connected to water. In Dallas, it's a private company involved with mineral water. In San Francisco, it's supposed to be some sort of fraud involving an official that worked at the city's public works department. It's fraud. It's not just fraud. It is an attempt to launder a lot of very, very dirty business. It's been allowed to go on with impunity for far too long. When I was in Dallas, I had my Social Security card stolen. That Social Security card was hooked up to fake electronic accounts that were trying to convince me to cooperate with a plan to use fake government documents to help aid and abet other crimes, allegedly as part of some sort of alternative or radical political movement. But there's nothing alternative or radical about this. These bonds can be for 10, 20, even 30 years. I spent 30 years working a bond that was set up when I was a kid, and nobody would admit it. I've spent my whole life being involved in bond flips that other people put up and they used me for. And I believe they literally used me because my name was Charity. What else are they doing that's that heinous? This has to stop. This is completely unacceptable. That public notice in San Francisco was 100% a cover up for San Francisco getting busted for being opportunistic in the face of massive wildfires happening that caused rolling blackouts in counties and cities throughout California except for San Francisco.